Okay, now go.
I'm Michelle. Tasha.
Sorry.
Faith. Brianna.
Devin. I'm Brandon.
Thank you guys for being here. And I'm Dee. All right, thank you guys for coming in today. I would just like to start my presentation off with a couple of definitions. The first one being suicide. It's the act of killing yourself because you no longer want to continue living. Then there's assisted suicide, which is just you're helping someone commit suicide, mostly to end suffering, especially with some type of severe physical illness. And then euthanasia. It's of Greek origins, and it just means good death. If a person no longer wants to live or continue to suffer, whose right is it to tell them no? If you are lucid or of clear mind, or maybe have spoken with loved ones in the past about what you're going through, and you tell them that you actually do want to have the option of dying with dignity and not have to continue to suffer, is it not the appropriate thing to do to grant you that one last dying wish? Some will say that assisted suicide or voluntary euthanasia is very selfish. Some will say it is very unethical, and that's just not true. While very similar, there are certain differences between assisted suicide and voluntary euthanasia. The two big differences are with assisted suicide, the person is getting help from someone else. That's it. They're getting help. The person who wants to commit suicide, you are doing the dying on your own. It's your choice to go ahead and take whatever it is that you're doing or whatever you're taking. There's also a thing called a physician-assisted suicide. It's when you go out, you seek counsel, the doctor gives you the type of medication you want, they tell you how to take it, they make sure you are doing it the appropriate way, but you, in the end, are the only person whose choice it is to do it. It is solely up to you to take the medicine, to give yourself that shot. Now with voluntary euthanasia, that is when you are in a hospital or some other type of situation where there is a doctor present and they are the one giving you the lethal dose of that medication. There's also a more legal way, because assisted suicide, physician-assisted suicide, and voluntary euthanasia, they're mostly illegal in the United States. However, there's hospice. Hospice is very similar, but with hospice, it's usually when someone has a physical ailment or someone has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. They don't want to fight anymore. They're tired of fighting. They go into hospice. When they have hospice, you're at home, you're choosing to die at home, and the nurse or aide that's there, they do what they can to make you comfortable. They give you morphine or the other time painkillers to slowly let you just go. The only problem with hospice is it can drag things out. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law had an agreement. My father-in-law was 43 years old. That is really young. He was 42 when he was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. They found it in his brain. It had gone up to his brain. They did surgery. It went from the size of a pea to the size of a silver dollar before they actually did the surgery, 3 months after they found the original tumor. He went through all the chemo. He went through all the radiation. He had all the surgeries. It wasn't going away. The second time they did a brain scan, the doctor said he stopped counting after 18 masses. They just couldn't get it. It was really aggressive and they still couldn't do anything about it. The agreement my mother-in-law and my father-in-law had was, when you are ready to stop fighting, I will support you no matter what. You want to fight, we fight. You don't want to, then I'm behind you. It is your decision. He did end up in hospice. I don't think he wanted to be in hospice for as long as he was. His body was not ready to stop fighting, even though he was. He, according to his nurses, was on enough morphine to have killed somebody at least 3 months prior. He was on so much morphine, lethal doses, that there was no explaining for why he held on so long, but it did. It got really drug out, and I honestly don't think that, that's fair. Suicide, going back a little bit, Suicide is a very selfish act if you are a healthy person with plenty of healthy years ahead of you. But assisted suicide is not quite as selfish, in my opinion. When a person's going through that much pain, for example, my father-in-law, he went from a over 6 foot man, head full of hair. By the end of it, he was using a cane, hunched over, lost all of his hair, and what grew back was just pitch white. He lost tons of weight. He was no longer the person he is. Now imagine yourself wasting away. The person you look at in the mirror, that's not you anymore. The constant pain, being faced with, I literally have a number of days in front of me that is given to me by my doctors. You know, that's not fair for your family to try and put you through. I mean, if you were stuck in a bed, you could no longer go to the bathroom on your own, you couldn't bathe yourself, you couldn't move out of the bed, you've got the bed sores, you no longer have that dignity. Your family turns into the selfish ones. Would you want to hold on to someone who is in constant pain? I think that is just not fair. Another person I'd like to talk about is my grandmother. This is my grandmother, my abuelita. She is 80 years old. This picture is from a little over a year ago. She's smiling. She is lucid in this picture. She has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and dementia. But this picture and these pictures, you can see the confusion. If you want to take these and pass them around, that's fine. The confusion on her face. A year ago, she could still talk. Now she can't. She can't walk. She can't wash her own hair. My mother has been very vocal on, I'm saying, she knows her mom. She knows my grandmother. She knows that she would not have liked this. My grandmother was a very fiery spirit, very feisty, very headstrong, very stubborn. But she was also very prideful. It's not exactly a good thing, but I know she would not want to be like this. And my mother has even said to me on the matter, if I ever get like that, my wishes are not for me to get like that. She wants to be able to, hey, pull the plug. A lot of people will say that voluntary euthanasia is unethical, that doctors should not be taking someone's life, should not actively be killing someone. But isn't a doctor's purpose to ease your pain, to put you in comfort? If the patient, if you were to say, I don't want this anymore, or if your family knows that this person does not want this anymore, shouldn't the doctor go ahead with your last request? Shouldn't the doctor understand that that is what your wishes are? Shouldn't they be obligated to do so by the oath that they have given, which is to help comfort you and ease your pain? It is a person's right to decide that they are ready to go. It is their last chance to take back the reins of a situation that has always been something that has been beyond their control. It's their last chance to try to take that back. Take back some power that was taken away from them. That being said, assisted suicide, again, is only legal in 4 states. In Montana, it is only legal if there is a court order. Deathwithdignity.org does say that at least 20 different states are currently considering death with dignity as legislations and being legal within this year. However, voluntary euthanasia is still illegal in all states. Persons who have made their wishes clear to their loved ones will be forced to suffer because it is against the law. You will be forced to continue to bear the burden of the pain and the terrible quality of life that you are now in. You will be forced to look at your family and see them suffer alongside you. You will see the strain that your family is going through. You'll see the strain that it puts on your loved ones. You will look in the mirror and see someone that you don't recognize anymore. They're holding on to an idea, to memories, and you are not that person anymore. And it's all because, somebody else has taken the power and told you no. Someone who doesn't know the struggle you've been through. Someone who just said, oh, I don't think that's okay, and doesn't know case by case situations. You cannot get the peace that you want because somebody said it wasn't okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Real quick,
Michelle.
Michelle, Tasha, Faith, Brianna, Devin, and Brandon. Yes.